Good evening, everybody. Our whopping one viewer that we have. We got Hojo is in the chat with us. He's commented here at 9:57. B Rose. Oh my goodness, we're having people come in.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Good evening. People must have heard the name Julius Caesar and decided, oh, I should probably pay attention to this one. Which, speaking of, we've got SPQR's Bizarre Adventure. Should be arriving at the Fulfillment Center here very soon. And then, obviously, Matt, my co-host, has another book of his own that deals with ancient Rome. I'll let him introduce himself.
Yeah, I'm Matt C. You probably see me on the Twitter with weird polls and annoying takes on AI art. Yeah, I got Kyrie. Another few pages are done since last time you saw me on the stream. So we're in the final stretch. Maybe 10 pages left, thankfully.
And Dean from Comics Mate has joined us. He's saying that he's just here to mock me, and that's all well and good. That's what the chat's for. We'll see if we can attract a Mo Biggs, though I doubt it. He's too cool to hang out on my streams on a Wednesday night when Rainey has one. But we'll see. Anyways, so this video continues our little deep dive into the 20-minute breakdown video of ancient Roman history that started the discussion last week. And so last week we talked a lot about the Gracchi brothers primarily. And how this video does a lot to paint the Gracchi in a heroic light, despite the fact that they're a bit more complicated than that. And so that brings us to today's video, where the 20-minute breakdown goes out of its way to vilify probably the most prominent figure in Roman history. I would argue. I think that's accurate, wouldn't you say, Matt?
Yeah, Julius Caesar. Maybe that. Maybe his nephew. It depends.
Yeah. Maybe. I'd say it's a toss-up, but I would say that more people know the name Julius Caesar than they do Augustus.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And so let's quickly we're gonna watch this video's breakdown of Caesar and start there. It was too long for me to just clip, so we're just gonna watch it and maybe like EFAP it a little bit. We'll see. But yeah, 300 was not Rome. It was Crete. You're just saying this shit to get me mad.
But they had red cloaks. You know everything with red cloaks in the classical world is Roman.
No. Just no. Okay, so we're gonna full screen that.
49 BC, two outstanding generals fought over Rome. Gnaeus Pompeius had won the eastern provinces.
All right, so real quickly, I guess we are going to EFAP this a little bit. By the point of the Civil War breaking out, Julius Caesar had just started becoming a general. He was not really considered a prominent general until after the Civil Wars, because up until that point, really all Caesar had done was deal with some skirmishes at the Rhine, and then he was waging his war in Gaul and building a reputation, but he was not a prominent figure yet. So it's important to kind of set that up. Now, granted, as we established in the last video, breaking down Roman history within 20 minutes, not an easy task, but it is. I do feel it's an important thing to know. Caesar, Pompey, and another man named Marcus Crassus were a part of a power dynamic called the First Triumvirate. And they were three influential people in Rome that effectively manipulated the Senate and how it worked to rule Rome. Pompey was their military arm, Crassus was the bank, and Caesar was the populist. He was part of the Popularis party, which we heard a little bit about during our talk on the Gracchi last week. Belonged to the same party and was a descendant of Gaius Marius. So Caesar was a man of the people. Was a man of the people. He came from the patrician class, but he was a representative for what would be considered social reforms and social causes. And so that was the whole deal, is those three big names came together and were ruling Rome. And in 49 CE, the triumvirate, 49 BCE rather, the triumvirate begins to break down when Crassus dies in Parthia, leaving Pompey, who has an ego the size of the territory Rome ruled over, clashing with Caesar, who is starting to get all this credit for his wars in Gaul. Oh my God, we got a Mo Biggs in the chat.
Oh, hey.
I wasn't sure we'd get a Mo Biggs, because I'm sure that he finds me far too boring. So Comics Mate is asking Pompey. So there's a difference between Pompey and Pompey. So yeah. Mo Biggs is hailing us. We appreciate you, Mo. Thank you for deeming us worthy of your presence. I'm sorry that you're already falling asleep. But anyways, let's get back. Let's get back to the video.
Can I add one last thing? Is this will help Mo Biggs to fall asleep just a little bit? Like, it's important. I think it gets brought up very briefly. More time, like 10 more seconds on Sulla, I think is important in this video. And they don't really set, you know what I mean?
Well, they don't even talk about Sulla in this video. Like Sulla's apparently just not important. We went from Marius to the civil war between Pompey and Caesar. So apparently,
was he not even mentioned? I couldn't remember. I just remembered that I didn't get anything substantial, but he wasn't even there. That's horrible. Because why do you even have a triumvirate? Why do you have this?
The triumvirate's not mentioned either. All we know is we go from Gaius Marius doing the Marian reforms to Pompey and Caesar are killing each other now. So we've just over 60 years of history that is integral to setting up the empire. But I mean, whatever. As I said, when this started, I understand there are things that are going to need to be cut out in a 20-minute video, but maybe not skip over probably the most important shit in setting up the dynamic that leads into the Roman Empire. I don't know.
The only one of the reasons, like the only real reason I bring up Sulla here is because of what they're going to do to Julius Caesar in this clip. I feel like in order to go that to take the angle that they take and be this negative, this critical of Caesar's, just portray him in a negative light, you got to take out all the people who are clearly worse than him.
Yeah, no kidding.
You have to take Sulla out, or Caesar looks pretty darn good.
It's humorous, especially because they talk about Pompey and they practically praise him. So Aaron Jordan is and thanks for coming in, Eric. I see we got Aaron and Eric Gant in the chat as well. I was saying I'm going to need to mix more Coke into my crack rock recipe to endure this in the future. Fair enough. But Aaron Jordan asks, didn't Pompey get killed on a boat? No, he did not. He got killed. He arrived in Egypt after being defeated in what was it? Pharsalus was the last battle of Caesar, right? Let me double check.
It's there. We could find like a the HBO series scene on
Battle
this.
Battle of Pharsalus was the final battle, and so he gets Pompey flees to Egypt, expecting to be received warm by the Ptolemies, who he was very good standings with, and the newly appointed Ptolemy the 11th promptly had one of Pompey's old centurions cut his head off and put it in a pickle jar. And so when Caesar arrived in Rome, Pompey the 11th, or Pompey the 12th rather, presented Pompey's Ptolemy the 12th presented Pompey's head to Caesar, and Caesar was less than thrilled about it. There's a fantastic clip from HBO's Rome of Caesar freaking out on little Ptolemy the 12th. Oh, he was a consul of Rome. Aaron Hines at his best. So we've got Crazy Mad has joined the chat. We've also got the Art and Times of J. Ryan saying, "Pickled, you say?" Yes, indeed. Pickled head of Pompey is a whole thing. So now that we've played around with that for a few minutes, let's watch some character assassination.
Let's do it.
Because getting stabbed like 70 times in the Senate wasn't enough for Julius. We had to add on to that in this really shitty video.
For Rome, including restless Judea, cleared the Mediterranean of piracy, defeated Spartacus' slave revolt, and justifiably added the title Great to his name.
So it gives him credit for ending the Spartan slave revolt, which is technically true, except for the fact that Crassus did all the hard work and they got into a really big fight about it in the Senate. But whatever.
Hey, Gaius Julius Caesar had conquered Gaul. Nowadays, they would call it genocide. He butchered 1 million Gauls and enslaved as many more.
Very fair portrait. So we're going to go and give Pompey all this credit for putting an end to piracy, putting down the Spartan slave revolts, and making sure those troublesome Jews know their place in Judea. But then we're going to go and talk about Caesar and go, oh, his war in Gaul would be considered genocide in modern terms. It's like, okay, so first of all, warfare in this period would be considered genocide by modern terms. Full stop.
Yeah.
But sure, okay, whatever. Matt, go on ahead and give your thoughts.
Yeah. No, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Pompey, Pompey did a lot of things. Yeah. His expeditions in Judea were not
pleasant.
It's strange the way they just kind of, I think Jerusalem was just like a star on a map a few seconds before, but now we have headless Gauls being held by Roman fists here, which is just, I don't know. It's strange. I don't know why it tells a strong story, I guess. And sometimes with these videos, you're just thinking, how do I tell a narrative? You know what I mean? But this is a history channel. This is a channel that makes history content. So you think that they'd want to balance.
They make history content to push their own narrative, and that's been the whole point of this little video series. So Crazy Mad points out, Gaul, you mean France. So Gaul is modern day France and Belgium. So Mo was very entertained with my uppity Jews comment. Just in case there's anything, I am Jewish. I was bar mitzvahed, so like whatever. Yeah. But anyways, we got some hailing going around. People saying hi to one another in the chat. Great chat engagement we got here. What is Dean posted?
Dean, did you find some HBO content?
Maybe. We'll see. But anyways, back to our lovely video that paints good old Julius in such a great light. So I really hope that at some point in this, Pax is able to stop by, because like Julius is his like between him and Aurelian, like these are his favorite people in Roman history, and I would love to see Pax like completely freak out on this. So I'm really hoping that he's able to stop by. He has the link, so Mo Big says internalized anti-Semitism. Oh, it's the clip of me saying troublesome Jews. Okay, fair enough. All right. So, all right, continuing this god-awful video.
Went on to defeat the Germans and then invaded Britain.
Okay,
according to the law.
So here's the interesting thing. He went to Gaul to protect the Gauls from the Germans. So like the way that they frame that is like, yeah, he went and he committed genocide in Gaul and then did more bad things to the Germans and then the Britons. So like the way this timeline works is the Roman Senate receives an ambassador from Gaul that states, hey, we're getting fucked up by these people over the Rhine and we really need some help. And so Caesar goes up there, helps them deal with the stuff with the Rhine and establishes a governorship in Gaul, and tensions start to build between Caesar and the local populace. He puts down some rebellions, and then he does his Britain expedition. He ends up having to cut the Britain expedition short because a much larger rebellion under a newly appointed king of the Gauls, Vercingetorix, has started. And so he comes back, and then you get like the Gallic Wars that will end with the Siege of Alesia, which I have a fun little video of for later in the video.
Oh, great.
But anyways, continuing our little trip down shitty history lane.
A general had to dismiss his legions before returning to Rome, and in return have his moment of glory, a triumphal entry into the capital to the applause of the citizens. Caesar performed a hitherto unseen maneuver. He refused to submit to the Senate, and having...
Wait 1 second. Are they trying to say that the Senate offered Caesar a triumph before? No. Caesar requested a triumph, and in response, the Senate had him declared a traitor and an enemy of Rome. And so then he marched across the Rubicon.
Yeah, kind of an important detail. You know,
oh my God, I hadn't even realized that part. I was so busy. So I'm not going to lie. When I first watched this, I was so busy fuming over how freaking BS they propped up the Gracchi with that I didn't even know. I guess I didn't even notice how much misinformation they were giving on Caesar. Like, this is egregious. These people should be straight up awful.
Yeah, even like Tacitus and folks, kind of like anti-war types in Roman history.
Like
kind of, they get it still. They still understand that he's being cut off while he's out there from the Senate.
Caesar is painted as a villain by many classical historians in the contemporary period as you get more separated from those events. But like,
that's fair.
There's a very clear chain of event that leads to the Civil War, and what causes Caesar to cross the Rubicon is not being offered a triumph and just saying fuck it and going across the Rubicon with his armies. It's he requests he sends Antony, one of his generals, Mark Antony. He sends him to Rome and has him effectively elected a people's tribune and offers terms, and part of that is a triumph. And the Senate refuses, and in response has Caesar declared an enemy of the people of Rome. And that's when Caesar decides, all right, cool, I'm not going to abide by this, and marches on the city.
And that was an appropriate request, right? given what he had just accomplished against Vercingetorix.
Like the Siege of Alesia is earlier this week, a friend of mine gifted me a game called Shield Wall, which is effectively you playing as Julius Caesar through a bunch of these events as like a marshmallow stick person. And the Siege of Alesia is in there. And let me tell you, that shit is difficult. And it is a harsh reminder of just how much of a genius Julius Caesar is to have been able to handle that, because the game is actually like as silly as it is surprisingly accurate. And there is a point in the mission where there's like a combined assault between Vercingetorix and his reinforcements on all of your flanks that you have to deal with towards the end of the battle, and it sucks. Like it is really bad. But anyways, the chat's booming. So scrolling back up, Ogden's information is clearly dated, or he wouldn't continue to dead name Caesar. And then the Art and Times of J. Ryan said the unmitigated Gaul. Mobig's gasped. Atlantis is just south of there. Yeah, kind of. The Mo Biggs, this channel ain't rendering shit unto Caesar. That's certainly how it
that's the plan. Yeah.
How it seems. And now we're getting into a bit of a debate about where Atlantis is. Mo Biggs got onto it. He loves it when you call him Big Pompey. The Art and Times of J. Ryan's telling Dean that he lives on a fake continent. Oh, God. Indeed, Mo. That's where the term poppy came from. Oof. Admiral Wack has to join the chat and is telling me to cool it with the anti-Semitic remarks. Fair enough, I guess. D-Wags is saying, I heard Odin was being hateful. Apparently, will this be the next I hate... I don't even remember. What was it? Was it people claiming that I hated Eric Weathers because I gave a very positive review of his book Battle Brick Road? And then Comics Mate is, this chat is full of nothing but 100% historical accuracy. Oh, of course.
Absolutely.
Anyways, getting back to our fun video, I think that we're probably going to end up going over our hour mark. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I'm feeling it. Yeah.
This is going to be fun. So,
Italian border, the river Rubicon, marched his legions to Rome. It would take him several years to defeat Pompey the Great and his other...
yeah, it would take him several years of pursuing him across 2 continents as Pompey got his ass whooped. Like, Caesar, when he finally fights the Battle of Pharsalus, there is no reason why Caesar should have won. Pompey squandered, like a good chunk of Caesar's army got destroyed in bad weather going from Italy to Greece, and he was not doing so hot when he got into Greece, and Caesar routed Pompey at Pharsalus, completely destroyed him. So like, I love how they're trying to not only talk shit about Caesar and make him a villain, but they're trying to downplay his accomplishments.
Yeah, he's never being portrayed as the underdog in this stuff, which he frequently was, which you mentioned earlier. Yeah.
Dude, this is accurate. The Art and Times of J. Ryan, this video is less accurate than Assassin's Creed Odyssey. That is correct. Like, doing this little EFAP thing has been really fun, but it's also like mind blowing. It's like, holy shit! Like, how poorly did these people do their jobs? Like, for those who are coming in late, we were already talking about how this video completely omits Sulla and the triumvirate and just goes straight from Marius into Caesar Pompey civil war without any of the buildup there. And it's just like, oh my God, what? And like, it already starting off by painting Caesar as a genocidal maniac to the ever noble Pompey, who, put down the Spartacan slave revolts, which he didn't really. He got credit for it, but he didn't really do it. And putting ease to the Judean region. Darren Wagoner is saying this stream is about as tasteless as Little Caesar pizza. SMH. Fair enough, I guess.
Oh, okay. The Eric Weathers joke makes sense now. Thank you, Mo Biggs. I was still trying to connect that puzzle piece.
The only reason Ogden hates Weather is because he thought his name was James Eric Weathers. He couldn't tolerate those. Very, very clever. You suck. Anyways.
I thought Michael was just not a Jimmy Eat World fan, but that makes more sense.
During production of the first Embrace, I had to threatened to leave if he didn't change his name, David's name, to Adolf. He was so determined to name him Adolf. You know what, man? We're going to have a talk. Anyways, press
pitting Roman legions against each other. In the process, Caesar annexed new territories and gave Cleopatra the Egyptian throne. After a romantic cruise along the Nile, she would give birth to Caesarion, or Little Caesar. On his return, Caesar would add Imperator, or Emperor, to his name. Title.
Imperator does not mean emperor, and especially in the title, in the context of when it was given, it would be a title that would become synonymous with emperor, but he adds the title Imperator as an ultimate general, it's effective.
I think they do mention that here. I think they're about to see.
Well, okay, he's about to say that.
I don't want you to
victorious commander.
Yeah.
What he says immediately after that was originally meant victorious commander.
Mm-hmm.
And hold on one second.
Yeah.
That was my folks letting me know that I'm being a little bit too loud. But anyways, so Imperator, it doesn't mean emperor. This is them trying to push the fact that the myth that Julius Caesar is the first emperor. I personally do not actually believe that Caesar was trying to start a monarchy. I think that he had it's very funny because they go and push how great the Gracchi are. But then they go and vilify Caesar. And Caesar is effectively trying to do what the Gracchi failed to do. And that is seize control of the Senate in a way that he can create actual lasting change that will benefit the people of Rome as he sees.
Yeah, well said.
But that's neither here or there.
It's a great point.
But anyways.
And gain control of all political positions. Consul, tribune of the people, and dictator. Rumor spread that Caesar wanted to declare himself king. Conspiracy was brewing in the Senate, and Caesar was assassinated. Caesar left his wealth, quite unexpectedly for all concerned, to his grandnephew, 19-year-old Gaius Octavius. This Octavian...
This really wasn't that unexpected. like this is actually something that I don't fault the video on too much, because there are some historians that try to claim it was, but Octavian had entered into public life and served with Caesar on a few campaigns, and Caesar was very vocal about how impressed he had been by Octavius. And as he had had no legitimate male heir through his Roman wife Calpurnia, him choosing his nephew in this way is actually pretty standard protocol in Roman life for the times. Yeah. So I think that that covers the character assassination that this video does on Julius Caesar. We'll pick up on the next episode to talk about the imperial stuff. So let's unpackage what we just watched there with Julius, because there is a lot of stuff that we just don't even bother to talk about. Like, how about the fact that Julius Caesar gave general amnesty to all the members of the Senate that had went and served and sided with Pompey?
Or how about I didn't hear anything about Mark Antony the whole time, and that was like, you could have had. Was he there? Did I miss that?
No, he comes up later because it's only important to talk about in the context of the second triumvirate, and which they don't even name. I don't think they even call it the second triumvirate, because if you're not going to mention the first triumvirate, why would you mention that there was a second one, right?
Yeah, they only mentioned 2 of the 3 in the triumvirate. So yeah, okay. So Mark Antony does show up, I guess. That would be
just not here.
I don't remember them mentioning like the empire almost went Egyptian.
Yeah, well, and that comes up a little bit later. They talk a bit about his stint with Cleopatra. I honestly didn't care. Yeah, there's more things that you could elaborate on, but for a 20-minute video, I think that they hit the points. The important things is he got her her place on the throne and allowed her to maintain Egypt's autonomy, and didn't make it an actual vassal state of the empire. She was considered an ally, which was a big win for Cleopatra, obviously. But in terms of painting the portrait of Julius Caesar, this video does a really, really shitty job of portraying probably one of the most interesting figures in antiquity. There is a reason why there is a legitimate debate, and it's not even people joke about it, but it is a legitimate debate. Was Julius Caesar actually a tyrant? Because you look at the things that he's trying to accomplish in the Senate when he's dictator, and you're seeing a lot of social reforms and a lot of distribution of wealth and everything like that the Gracchi were trying to accomplish, and he's pushing it all through as dictator. And yeah, he lists himself as dictator for life, but he doesn't establish a monarchical style of government. He doesn't establish that, my heir is going to become the next dictator or anything like that. He does will all of his personal fortune and assets to Octavian. But that's again, as we said, that's nothing outside of the ordinary of a prominent Roman citizen, as you would find somebody to be your male heir, probably the next in line in your family, somebody that you felt could be trusted with that sort of thing. And Julius Caesar was very impressed by Octavius, so that makes sense. But there is a legitimate debate where it's for all the things that you could point at and say he was tyrannical over, he was using that power to benefit the Roman people, or at least was attempting to. Between that and trying to wage a campaign in Parthia to avenge the death of Crassus, were like his two big pushes. I think that's all really Caesar cared about, was being able to continue to fight the wars that he wanted to fight and making sure that he made good on his promises to the Roman people. And if he had done that, he probably would have died. The Senate would have returned back to the Republic format, and it would have undergone some serious changes that might have allowed it to maintain. But instead, he's assassinated, and from that power vacuum, you get the rise of the empire. So, Matt, what are your thoughts on Julius Caesar's portrayal in this video? I know that I've been talking the most about this, but
no, it's great. Like, I just want to underscore what you said, that if you like the Gracchi at all, I think you have to give even more credit to Caesar, or you have to critique both, equally. I think you have to portray both in a negative light, because they're both. Maybe the Gracchi are a little more ruthless, or maybe they're less successful. It's kind of like it's the Kurt Cobain effect, maybe, or something. Like, they died before they outwore their welcome with their audience, I guess, with the elite, with the Republic. So they didn't. It's easier for a modern audience, I guess, to look back and say that because they didn't get as much done as they had planned to, that maybe that makes them somehow tragic figures. Where Caesar, it's hard. Like, he died. I don't like, his death is tragic, but he's not, in a way, you can't quite say he's a tragic figure because of his accomplishments. You know what I mean? Like, he gets a full career.
There is a tragedy in the end of Caesar. However, what I will say is there is a reason why he is a complicated figure in history, because it's very easy to see where people can see what he did as tyrannical. He did seize power. He did march his army against the Roman Republic. But it's one of those things where you look at it and then you look at the state of the Republic at the time. It's not what the people who romanticize it think it is. It's a dying, festering animal.
That was almost just kind of on life support. Somehow it got resurrected after Sulla, which is by any stretch of the imagination, like a very, very dark time.
So I have
you want to talk about tyranny,
I have not abandoned the chat, Mo. I wanted to make sure that we got through and got a chance to actually sum up our thoughts on some things before we have a little bit of fun with the craziness in the chat, because I know I've been getting a lot of a lot of comments trying to accuse me of Nazism, which is always fun as a Jewish person who
what has happened in the last week? There were no Jew jokes last week. I don't even know what's going on.
I made the comment while the video was talking about Pompey, because they were like he brought healed troublesome Judea. So I made a joke about the troublesome Jews in Judea, and
is that all it takes? That's great.
Yeah, no, that's 100% all it takes. And Mo Biggs hopped on it.
As you do.
There we go. It's right there. Wait till Ogden starts blaming troublesome Jews for the video's inaccuracies. Clearly, you and the creator of the video have a difference of an opinion. Can you agree to disagree? If not, what is your final solution? Very, very clever. Ogden and the Jews should be the next book. Yeah, no. Odin really needs to look over his chat. Yeah, I'm aware, Dean. I've been seeing Ogden struggle. The G in Ogden is for German master race. These are pretty clever. To be fair, picking on Ogden is low-hanging fruit. Classic self-hating Jew. Fair enough, I guess. Whatever. Not Pompey. Pompey really jeweled it up trying to coat his esophagus in gold, and that wasn't Pompey. That was Crassus. That was Marcus Crassus when he went over into Parthia. He overestimated the Roman legion's abilities in dealing with the Parthian cavalry, and the way the legend goes is the Parthians poured molten gold down his throat after his defeat. They took a whole bunch of his gold because that was the whole thing. Is Crassus was the wealthiest man in Rome, and in fact, I think in the top 10 wealthiest men in history, Crassus comes in at number 5. Pompey, as I had said earlier, he got decapitated and his head was pickled and presented to Caesar as a gift by Cleopatra's younger brother and husband, Ptolemy the 12th or the 11th, which I can't remember. There's lots of Ptolemies. I missed D-Wag's comment. I apologize. Let me go back up. Triumvirate is a real word. Inconceivable. It is a real word. And D-Wag is saying Ogden is seems really passionate about this. I am. This is kind of like my thing. Roman history, Greek history, the antiquities in general is like a really big thing. That does not narrow it down. Like, you're talking about Cleopatra was 10 generations of inbreeding in the making. Cleopatra is the first person in her family in 300 years not to bone a sibling.
Yeah, yeah.
It's gross, but that's like I literally went and pulled up the Ptolemy family tree a week ago in a debate at work about it.
Oh yeah. I saw one once where someone just I guess you can technically do this. They just took her great I'm not sure how many greats it went back, but it was more than a couple greats, grandparents, and then just drew a straight line from them to Cleopatra because genetically they might as well have been her parents, which is
pretty much
quite a feat.
It's gross. Like the fact that the fact that Cleopatra didn't have like the Charles the 11th of Spain jaw is a miracle. Like crazy mad Mark Antony for the win. Not really. Go look at how Actium turned out for him and Cleopatra. Not exactly what I'd call a big W. That might be like I can't remember who I was watching. I was watching like some history podcast, and they were talking about how disappointing the Battle of Actium is because you have all this buildup and you have this conflict between like some of the greatest military leaders of their time. Antony being like a direct disciple of Julius Caesar on the battlefield, and Marcus Agrippa being probably the most prominent commander rising up of that era. So you have this whole thing between like Octavian and Agrippa and Antony and Cleopatra, and you're expecting this massive blowout battle that's just going to be epic. And the Battle of Actium is a joke. Agrippa and Octavian just destroy Cleopatra and Antony to the point where Antony tries to desperately challenge Octavian to a one-on-one fight in the ways of their ancestors. Like, oh man. Braveheart is great. I used it. Okay, we're just going to ignore that. Dude's like, just wait for it. Gotta crack a couple of eggs to make an Egyptian thought. Fair enough. young Agrippa, yeah. Oh, we're talking history. Thought this was the Sugar Chris origin story. Maybe. Who knows?
Mark Antony did have some top 40 hits.
The most beautiful woman in the world at the time. I'd say bagging that was win. I mean, okay, so let's pull up a bust of Cleopatra the Seventh.
Yeah, get the coin out.
Even by those days' standards, I don't think she would count. The big thing about Cleopatra was she was supposed to be like very charming and very very intelligent, like surprisingly intelligent for a person that is like 11th generation inbred.
And she represents what the Romans look to as one of the antique empires of bygone era, and if you could claim legitimacy from that perspective, you're golden. So why wouldn't you?
This is a bust of Cleopatra the Seventh, Philopater, and so the important thing about Cleopatra is that she, as Matt was saying, is the last of a line that traced its origins back to Alexander the Great. The first Ptolemy was Alexander's second cousin, and was one of his companion generals during his campaigns. So she held not only was she the pharaoh of once Julius put her in power, not only was she the pharaoh of Egypt, but she was part of a very prestigious familial line. We got Comics with Drew coming into the chat. Is this what I have to watch to get all your weird ass history memes? It probably wouldn't hurt. Maybe. She's no Helen of Troy, is what you're saying. No, like that is accurate. Like, she's not the person that's going to launch an invasion of 10,000 ships. However, she is a very important political figure, and the access of what she could give Antony and Caesar from a political standpoint cannot be understated. At this point in time, Egypt is the granary of the known world. So you control Egypt, you control the grain supply for the entire Mediterranean. She did know how to throw it back. One of the big things she is known for is her voluptuous parties and orgies. Those are like not even joking. Like, those are legitimately what she is known for. Is she was a full on party girl, and very known for being eccentric. In fact, the way that she gained an audience with Caesar, despite the fact that her brother had made her persona non grata and people were supposed to kill her on sight, was she was snuck in by way of hiding inside a rug that was sent as a gift to Caesar. And so she was hidden in the rug, and when it got unraveled, she was revealed. Like very big on presentation, very eccentric and everything like that. But was she a thought? Yes.
Yeah, pretty much. And you don't have to be a 10 to be a thought. It's basically
exactly
what it comes down to.
She probably had some nice boobs. Whack ass. Probably. Oof. Anyways. We're coming on to the 49 minutes. So I'm trying to think. You wanna show off your campaign here? I'll pull that up.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Since we're coming up on the hour, I was kind of hoping that we'd get Pax Romana on. It was a blast when we had him on that first time, but this is a night that he generally has to work. He said he would try and be here, but if he's not going to make it, that's all well and good.
Yeah, maybe he catches the replay. He'll enjoy the chat.
He catches the replay. But we've got a whole bunch of questions about Cleopatra's rug matching the drapes. So is she a diamond in the rug? I'll take anything. I'm desperate.
Yeah.
How much can the chat derail this street game is fun. It is.
You guys are great.
You guys are fantastic. Thank you guys for all coming out. The chat is always a delight. Before we roll out, let's take a look.
We do have don't leave yet, because we do have something saved right for the end that I think you guys would appreciate. That
and I think
a week ago.
Yeah, like I think that it's aptly appropriate. It is very appropriate given what we endured here this evening. So obviously we have Kyrie book 3, or what was the new one? It was Kyrie, I think. Kyrie, that's right. I apologize.
The cactus called it that.
We got to keep changing up the name just to throw people off. He's only $200 away from 10K, guys. There's no Matt is a phenomenal creator, and he writes and draws all of his stuff. This book series takes place in the Roman Imperial Egypt, and it's just an absolute delight. If you like, Alexander the Great, you like mysteries and treasure hunting stuff like Indiana Jones. If you have any love of history at all and you haven't checked out these books, you absolutely should. This is his 3rd book in the main series, but he's also done an anthology book called Wild Tales. It's absolutely exceptional. And he offers incredible values. I'll go through his perk tiers in a minute. But as we've got people here in the chat, I figured it's really good to actually get to go through. And each of these books are pretty massive. I've got my copies around here somewhere. I can pull on the screen here in a minute.
Thanks. This edition is action packed. It's pretty. There's a lot of intense stuff. It's the best pages I've ever drawn are in this book. I'm so excited to get it into people's hands.
It's really,
I really stretched myself.
Like he sent me a few things, and he was initially considering putting them on the campaign. I was like, no, you do not put those pages on the campaign. You let people get surprised by how awesome those are. And for anyone that's interested and doesn't really know anything about history, this made me giddy. I ended up buying these 2 as well. He has put out 2nd editions of Kyrie that are completely annotated. So you'll be able to go and look up the things that he's talking about and everything and be extra informed. It's such a, honestly, when I saw that, I went, dude, screw you. I'm going to have to go get this.
Now I gotta make sure it's gonna be fun. Now I gotta make sure that everything I put in that annotated edition, I'm gonna have Mike in my ear saying I gotta make sure it meets his standards, which is gonna be exciting.
It's you're just gonna get some mad messages from you. What the fuck is this? Why is there no Chicago style citation? When was the last time you did any of this? So, as I said, we'll go through his tier options. I very much recommend his collector tier, his epic edition. I got his Rubicon package of the Wild Tales, and it's fantastic. Matt goes the extra mile to deliver a very awesome and unique customer experience for his box packages on the campaign. I believe this one you get a Roman coin, you get a head sketch, You get your copies of the book, and you get some stickers of like, is that Alexander there, or is that your main character?
It's my main character. There's a centurion, and then there's a
just a normal legionnaire.
Yeah. And there's a making of booklet that's more of the visual, like the concept art and like the process behind what it takes to make these books.
That's outstanding.
Research stuff.
And then you obviously have the book 3 PDF. Are the books 1 and 2 PDF available on this as well?
They should be. Yeah, they'd just be farther down. But yeah,
okay.
Absolutely.
I just wanted to double check.
Yeah, just arranged by price, I think. So
so Kyrie, whatever. I'm tired. Wild Tales number 1. Yeah. These were fantastic. I had an absolute blast reading them. My favorite one is the Dr. Watson side story. Was absolutely phenomenal. Book 3 just by itself is $20. Very good price for a 150-page graphic novel. Absolutely.
It's gonna be 100 and it's like 163 story pages right now.
Oh wow!
I had to beef up a scene or two.
It's going to be even more than what you put on the campaign. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And then Kyrie 3 PDFs combo, which you had stated before, is $30 to get all 3 of those digital.
It's like 450 pages of content.
Yeah, and then you get the annotated books, and 1, 2, and 3 is $75. So, and then you get portrait commissions at $80 per. This is such a great campaign. Seriously, those of you in the chat, if you can at the very least share this around, and get it as much support as we can, because like there's no reason why this book shouldn't be above 10K. Matt's a proven creator. He always fulfills. He does a great job with it, and his books are always just so damn enjoyable to read.
Thanks so much. Yeah, I might have to ask. Darren Wagner in the chat says that I should let Well-Read know. Maybe. Well, I don't know. I want someone. I think he might like. He's too much like me, and I'd be worried that you guys wouldn't think he's giving a fair review.
So this has nothing to do with me like trying to ignore the chat. I just want to make sure that I do a good job of helping out. Like Matt is a good friend. This campaign, Kyrie is something that has blown me away, and any single chance that I get to try and help out, I take. It's not me trying to be a jerk to the chat. I promise I will go back and I will double check before we go and talk about the Embrace 2 sign up and everything. In fact, we can even look back here. So let's see. I think that was the last one that we put up. So we've got 80s Maid came in, Heard She Stripped the Deck Bare, probably. The Road That I Must Travel edition.
Pretty much.
Kyrie Irving is number 11, not 3, but whatever.
Man, you guys write the best jokes. Like I'm always catching up to you guys.
The Art and Times of J. Ryan. So Kyrie. I'm not.
Kyrie.
So it's possible to make historical comics without weavery. I mean, it's possible. It's just nowhere near as fun.
Yeah.
That got some chuckles. I'm sorry, Comics of Drew. I do not. It's okay. It's okay at Crazy Matt. Every time, either nobody gets my Mr. joke or everybody gets my Mr. joke.
Oh, okay. Everybody gets it.
Great effing poet Mo stares at Ogden. I will not apologize for the beautiful book that is SPQR, which I have right here.
Yeah. Please never do.
He could have just called the book Karen and saved everyone the trouble.
Oh gosh. I promise you, this book will not speak to your manager.
Or at least not ask to.
No, yeah.
Speaking of, so I do actually have my 2 copies of the first 2 books. My copies of the first 2 books right here. Very sizable graphic novels, great print quality, and Matt. The other thing that I really like is that Matt includes a small little portrait and a thank you that he does for everybody in there. So please make sure that if you've not already, give Matt some support, share the link out, do whatever you can do, and help this book get over 10K, because it really should be above 5 figures. There's no reason for it. He does such great work.
I'm sure I'll get there soon. As soon as I start fulfilling,
like you're so close. You're $200 away. Like it is not a far stretch. With that being said, it's time to show a little bit of my own stuff. So
yes.
SPQR should be starting the fulfillment process soon. Mo, get in touch with me, please, because I believe you still have my mugs. There was an accident where all of the mugs from my campaign got shipped to him.
Oh, okay.
So, he ended. I think he needs to get a new box for them, but outside of that, that's completely on me. I had a big snafu when putting in the shipping info, and since I had shipped one to Mo. Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, and shoot me an email with the details on that so I can compensate you, because there's no reason why you should have to pay for my screw up. Yeah, this is a fun thing. So since I had when I had made the initial proofs of the mugs, I sent one to Mo, and I had one come to me. And so his address was saved. And when I inputted the new address for the fulfillment center, it didn't put it in the right spot. So the mugs ended up getting shipped to Mo. So.
Oh, that's funny. So you're not fulfilling them yourself. So that's kind of interesting. Yeah.
I have RJ Critical Blast doing it. The last time I was fulfilling a project was the Embrace, and I was during the middle of custody trials and everything. And I was just like, I'm not doing this again. Like, it's just too much.
RJ is the best person to do it. If you got to hire somebody, obviously he's the best.
And that's the whole thing, is I trust him. He does really good work. He does everything that he can to help out price wise on our end. And he's a good dude. And I like to keep people in my network that I think are worthwhile. And I think RJ is. But anyways, sign up for the Embrace 2 is live. We have passed 500 signups, which is fucking incredible.
Fantastic.
So that's awesome. We actually, I'm not going to show it off just yet, but Kyrie Salviejo, who did the art for SPQR, we brought her on to do a new cover for the first book to help to give people who missed out on the first book something special, and to get people who bought the first book to consider buying another copy because economics. But we have a lot of really cool stuff so far. So we have, obviously, we're following up the first book. We've got Michael Bancroft's doing a cover, and it looks great. We have an Embrace action figure that's put away right now, so I can't really show him off, but I have him. We have a whole bunch of great value on this campaign, and we're really excited. I know Dean's working very hard on the pages. He was really sick towards the end of last year, but he's gotten back up on the horse and is working his ass off. And Dean is like the glass ceiling in indie comics. Every single time he comes back, he's pushing his skills to another level, and I love watching him work, and I love watching his art grow with every page that we put out for the Embrace, and the first book really resonated with people, and I'm so happy to see this this story grow the way that it has. Yeah, when he's not messing around on streams making fun of me, he's working pretty hard. Darren Wagner says, "Wait, Julius Caesar was assassinated, correct? Could Ogden be advocating for harm against?" Oh, okay. That's not even remotely what's going on here.
It's incredibly clever. It's just, I'm not even upset.
And hail the chat and the panel. We got Felix Has in the chat.
Hail.
Disavow, bro. Disavow. Yeah, okay. But Felix, welcome. Thanks for coming to my solid stream. We're actually pretty much at the end. So for our closeout, Pax Romana actually posted up not long ago a video of this actor performing the ending monologue of Mark Antony from the play Julius Caesar by Shakespeare. I don't know why I blanked out on that. I am tired.
No, guys, let us know what you guys think of this guy's voice acting, because apparently he's a big TikTok voice actor guy, and he's for hire. So maybe he'll show up on a campaign.
That would be a cool thing to do, is get this guy to do some voice work for a trailer. But anyways, we are going to share screen this. I'm going to get that set up. So really quickly, I'm Michael Oden, creator of Nine Realms Publishing and the host. Matt, you going ahead?
Yep, I'm Matt C., creator of Kyrie.
And this has been One in Rome with Michael and Matt. And so we're going to...
Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. I come to bury Caesar, not to praise him. The evil that men do lives after them. The good is oft interred with their bones. So let it be with Caesar. The noble Brutus hath told you Caesar was ambitious. If it were so, it was a grievous fault, and grievously hath Caesar answered it. Here, under the leave of Brutus and the rest, for Brutus is an honourable man, so they all honourable men, come I to speak in Caesar's funeral. He was my friend, faithful and just to me. But Brutus says he was ambitious, and Brutus is an honourable man. He hath brought many captives home to Rome, whose ransoms did the general coffers fill. Did this in Caesar seem ambitious? When that the poor have cried, Caesar hath wept, ambition should be made of sterner stuff. Yet Brutus says he was ambitious, and Brutus is an honourable man. You all did see that on the Lupercal I thrice presented him a kingly crown, which he did thrice refuse. Was this ambition? Yet Brutus says he was ambitious, and sure, he is an honourable man. I speak not to disprove what Brutus spoke, but here I am to speak what I do know. You all did love him once, not without cause. What cause withholds you then to mourn for him? Oh, judgment! Thou art fled to brutish beasts, and men have lost their reason. Bear with me. My heart is in the coffin there with Caesar, and I must pause until it come back to me.